Alright, welcome back to another video. So, this one's gonna be kind of a mix between an Overwatch tier list and kind of my overall opinion on Overwatch 2 so far. Kind of the changes that they make, things I think they did well, and things that I think just don't make sense. So, I'm gonna kind of go through the list here. Now, it's kind of a small one, so the frame might be a little bit weird, but we'll see. We have A through D, right? So, not A, that's clearly an S. S through D. S being obviously like super god tier. It is the best of the best. They are the characters you want to use in the game. What the hell was Bastion here? You ain't even in the game. Get out. But then we have D tier. Sorry, I just saw him. I had to do it. I can't even play Bastion. He's trash then. Right? So, let's get started. Honor's first. Now, Honor, you need good aim for, but Honor could be a good healer. So, easily B. Easily B, I think. Damage output, not so much. The sleep dart's quite good. Something I'd like to see change with Ana is I think the sleep dart lasts a bit too long. Like her sleep dart, I think she gets like one every 10 seconds or something. Like I think it's a 10-second cooldown for it, but it lasts a long time. It has enough time to sleep dart you, the whole team form like a ring around you, and you get in the middle. Like, but I get it. Ashe. Ooh, Ashe is hard. Because, okay, so my thing with Ashe, right, is you base Ashe. I'm just going to play some B for now. It's not my final thing. But the thing with Ashe is Widow and Hanzo are also both snipers. Ashe does the least damage out of all three of them. I guess technically Widow's the assault rifle, but you know what I mean. A full charged Widow shot, a full charged Hanzo shot. Ashe does the least damage because it doesn't have to charge, but you can't charge it. Then her dynamite's quite nice. Bob is Bob. Bob is goated. I'm gonna say probably still B tier. Now the difficulty I have is I'm on PC playing with the controller because I don't use mouse and keyboard. I know how to, I just don't want to. Which they turn off aim assist completely for that. It hasn't been too bad, but there's definitely some times that I sit there and go, not my best game. Right? Your aim has to be that much ever so on point. Which if you've seen some of the videos, or even if you're one of my friends watching this, you know I didn't struggle with Hanzo that one day by any means, getting like 13, 14k damage. So it didn't matter that much. Baptiste? I almost want to put Baptiste C tier. I feel like his assault rifle doesn't do that much damage. I get why, like he's supposed to be a healer, right? But then even healing-wise, it's a bit meh. Like, I can honestly say I think Baptiste is my least played healer. I might even go through and kind of pull up some of the stats. If as I go through this, I'm like, I think this is my least played. And we can kind of maybe get some of the stats out, but Baptiste definitely is down there. Now, Baguette. I know it's like Baguette or whatever. I call her Baguette, okay? Amazing healer. A tier. A tier. Listen, if you don't understand why she's A tier, you don't use her well. If you get into any close quartered area with Baguette, you do not die. And your entire team does not die. You can get insane healing. You can one-on-one Roadhogs if you actually play it really well. Like, if he hooks you, obviously it's done. You pretty much have to block the hook with your shield, and then you can stun the Roadhog. It's done. Like, McCree or Cassidy or whatever his new name is, his magnetic stun was definitely a strong change. I think the magnetic stun maybe has too much tracking on it, though. So the stun, now that you toss it, it kind of like tracks on to people. I feel like it tracks almost too well. There's definitely some times that like you could be standing here, they toss it in, and it's like, nope. But other than that, still pretty good, strong, solid character. Granted, you won't see people play a lot of assault characters, and that's just the reality of the game right now. Kind of like, the game right now, in my opinion, is so defense heavy. You want to run 3 defense, 2 healers. That's it. You don't run an offense person. You don't run an assault type person because it's useless. You're talking, let's go with McCree, right? Any defense can get the same amount of damage as McCree, and has way more health. Because they're so squishy and they can get killed so easily, but they don't have that extra damage, they take so long to respawn and come back. Sure, McCree might do more damage per shot than someone like... I was going to say Zarya, but Zarya's a bad choice. Let's go with Roadhog, for example. Sure. Right, maybe he does more damage per shot than Roadhog, but Roadhog can just stay there for so long and build up that damage and constantly contest that they completely outplay. Defense completely outplay any offensive people. You cannot kill the tanks quick enough right now. I hope to see that change. Doomfist, honestly, you know what? Honestly, D tier. Trash tank. Trash tank. He just is. Diva, A tier. I mean, like, Doomfist, there's not really much to say. He's just a trash tank. No one plays Doomfist. Out of every tank, he is the least tanky person. Diva, I mean, who doesn't love someone that can get in and out of mechs constantly? They pop a mech. Oh, look, I have another mech. Pop a mech. Oh, look, alt. And everyone dies. Like, who doesn't love that? It's great. Still, probably not the best tank in the game. Echo. Ooh. I might have to do Echo dirty and put it in B tier. I'm going to put it at the top of B tier, but Echo can be really good, but again, kind of what I was saying. So Echo has a mass damage output. Echo can shred almost anyone because of the damage output. But again, the assault in the game is so squishy that it's almost not worth it. I think Echo has like the same amount of health as healers. Even some healers have more health than Echo. Like, Echo's so squishy and so... Someone headshots you as fucking McCree and you die. Like, it's done. It's done. Like, then all your damage output means nothing because you've spent another 15 seconds responding, then another 30 seconds running back. So, Genji, fucking S tier. Needs to be nerfed, honestly. Can I make a new tier? Needs to be nerfed to delete from game? Why does Genji get a jump so much? Genji mains are annoying shits. They are. They really are. Because they just keep hopping around and keep jumping, and then all of a sudden you try to finally make a shot on them. You finally hit a shot, and they deflect it back in your face. So annoying. Definitely, I think the jumping needs to be nerfed. I think they can jump too much. Right? You base Genji and Hanzo, for example, because Hanzo's the brother, right? Hanzo can do some jumping as well. He can't bunny hop like that. If anything, it would make more sense for Hanzo to be able to jump around like that rather than Genji. I feel like the jumping just needs to be slowed down a bit. They pretty much never are on the ground. They're flying. They're almost worse than Fair. Honestly, I find it harder to hit a Genji than a Fair. Because Genji can constantly dash, in your face, deflecting. Like, no. Wrecking Ball, C tier. A little bit better than Doomfist. Still pretty trash. I mean, anytime I've seen someone use a Wrecking Ball, they pretty much just die. I honestly can say, so far from playing, I probably already have like 15, 20 hours in Overwatch 2. I know, it's not an insane amount. Play probably 3 hours every weekend. Like Friday, Saturday, Sunday with my friends and stuff. That's about it. But I don't think I've ever seen a Doomfist or a Wrecking Ball get a kill. Hanzo. I'm going to put him in A tier. The being able to get the sight, right? The sightseeing ability, that arrow, is beautiful because you can kind of get information. The rapid shot arrows are very good for killing anyone that gets in your face. And then damage output's really good, and then Hanzo's ult is just glorious, almost in every game mode. You think of any game mode in Overwatch, it's not like team deathmatch. I guess there is a team deathmatch, but you know what I mean. The push the player, capture the point, the robot that moves now, so basically push the fucking payload in a weird way. All of them, they need to touch a specific small given area. A Hanzo ult will take everyone out of that area. So it's very, very good for counter pushes. Junkrat, A tier. Pretty much S tier is they need to be nerfed. A tier is the solid characters. Right, I'm actually going to move Hanzo up, and Junkrat's going to go to the top, because Junkrat is really good. Right, Junkrat just being able to stun people, the rip tires, just the pure damage coming out of Junkrat, it's really, really good. Also, the fact that it actually has bullet drop. This is something I say in every game. People always think bullet drop's a bad thing. Bullet drop can be very advantageous in certain situations. I've seen Junkrat stand in points and just shoot over things. No one else can shoot over it. You can't see the Junkrat, but they can still hit you. Like, that's pretty good sometimes. Could be pretty bad as well, because straight line of shot really far away. The Junkrat's, like, staring in the sky, praying. Meanwhile, the Hanzo just hits you in the head. Like, there's ups and downs. Lucio, I almost want to put S tier. He has to go S tier. He has to go S tier. I know I just said S tiers for nerfs. I don't think Lucio needs a nerf necessarily, but he's good. He's good. Remember when I was talking about like 3 tanks, 2 healers? Yeah, you can do probably 4 tanks in Lucio, and you're good. And I'm not kidding. I think my friends and I have done that. I think we ran 4 tanks, and I think I was thinking Lucio. I switched between Lucio and Kiriko, which I don't even see Kiriko on. Yo, why is Kiriko not on this list? What's going on? The other 2 are in here. Junker Queen and Sojourn is on here, but not Kiriko. Listen, Kiriko for me, A tier. Let's just say that right now. A tier. One of my favorite characters to use right now. When my aim's on point with Kiriko, you can get insane healing and insane damage. That mitigation can come so... Like, it's ridiculous. Being able to just constantly mitigate. Sure, it's a very short period, but you hear like a Reaper ult, a Feral ult, any like AoE-based ult, and you can just toss it and pretty much save your whole team. It's huge. Mei, I hate to do this to Mei. It's gotta go C tier. I don't understand why they nerfed Mei. I don't get it. I don't. You know, maybe not being able to freeze people and, like, just with a normal attack, right? That used to just freeze the targets after so long and put them in an ice cube. You know what? I can get that. I can kind of get that because it... I mean, that was the play. You froze the person and you could just go from person to person freezing them while your team just unloads damage onto them. That I get. Really not being able to jump onto your walls? They made it so weird and hard to line up. Why? Was it that big of a deal people were moving around with walls? I don't know. I feel like if they're going to reduce and make it so it doesn't freeze, they should have upped the damage, and maybe they did. I do not feel an up to damage. I mained Mei. I can honestly say I think I've played Mei once. I don't find her that good. Granted, again, tanks are busted in the game right now. All tanks, by the way, I think all tanks pretty much did a nerf. Even Wrecking Ball and Doomfist, right? You have Wrecking Ball and... Let's go with this. Doomfist versus Mei. Who wins? Doomfist. And you can go, well, that doesn't make sense because it's supposed to have tank on tank. But it does at the same time. A damage should be able to beat a tank pretty effectively here. Tanks are meant to sponge damage. If they can take on offensive people, right? You have 3 tanks. One of them, let's go with a Reinhardt, Roadhog, even Doomfist, pushes that tank away, and you have now the other tanks against offense. Who wins? Shock, it's the tanks then, right? That's kind of my point. I feel like the damage output on a lot of tanks are excessively high. Doomfist was an assault. I don't know why he was switched. He shouldn't have been switched, honestly. It seems just kind of lazy to me. They didn't want to make another tank, so they just moved an offense to tank. Mercy's pretty standard. Nothing's changed. Great healer, useless on offense. Moira needs to nerf, honestly. DPS Moira shouldn't be a thing. And the fact that it gets memed, so I've had so many Moiras just walk around and they don't heal. They'll end the game with like 20 healing. What? What are you doing? You're supposed to be a healer. Like they even so what we normally do if there's only like 3 or 4 of us playing rather than a full like 5-man, we'll do the unranked, so it's the specific positions. If we get a random that goes as Moira, we actually get upset because we know they're not gonna fucking heal and they never do. Most of the time, then one of us has to go either like a Reaper or a Soldier or a Roadhog that has self-healing capabilities because we know they're going to be useless. Like, if we get a Moira as a healer, I'm sorry, we're going Soldier and Roadhog as like tank and offense because we need the healing, and we know they're not going to help. It's lower the damage, make Moira less damage. Again, healer being able to one-on-one an offense shouldn't happen. Healer's job is to keep the tanks alive and keep the offense alive, not to be able to kill their offense. Like, you put Moira against, I don't know, Soldier, for example. Moira wins. Moira wins 9 out of 10 times. That's fucked up. Something's wrong. DPS is supposed to be the strongest damage. They're supposed to be squishy, so they should be easy to kill. But they should be the strongest damage output, and they're not by far. Why can't I think of a name? I want to say Samba, but it's not Samba. Yo, I can't think of their name. I always say cease your existence because that's what it sounds like, but it's always cease your existence. What's her name? I get Orisa. It's Orisa, not Samba. Orisa? The changes are pretty good. I get it. They probably stopped the amount of people that have shields, because at a certain point you have like Sigma, Reinhardt, and then Orisa all dropping shields. It becomes a lot. Like, you get a lot of shields down, and they kind of can't do any. You could actually put a Sigma shield one way, Orisa shield another way, and Reinhardt shield another way, and you're fully protected besides the Pharaoh from above. Like, I get it. I don't see a lot of people play her, though. Not the best, but I think that's pretty solid still. I think Orisa is kind of where tanks should be. Maybe the ult does a little too much damage, but Pharah is annoying as always. It's got to go A tier. Being able to just constantly fly and never touch the ground. I always find it funny when you see just a Pharah just walking around going, "Hey, how are you?" on the ground, and they just die. Like, they're useless on the ground. Super powerful from the air. Reaper, beautiful. Reaper's beautiful. Let me just reorganize this real quick. Nah. Yeah. McCree's definitely, like, bottom of A tier. But Reaper's solid. Reaper's really good. Reaper's one of my favorite people to play right now. I know I said offense isn't really good, but just the ult for it is really good, and then being able to constantly get away or constantly heal. It's one of the only people that can just tank tanks. Right, just my healing and damage will destroy almost every tank besides Roadhog because, well, he needs enough. Reinhardt. Reinhardt's solid. Reinhardt's definitely solid. I don't think any changes need to be done to Reinhardt, honestly. It's just good. Right, damage is really high up close, useless at long range. Pretty solid. Roadhog, completely broken, needs to be nerfed. I don't know why Roadhog, out of all fucking characters, got buffed. And if you have not seen my latest Overwatch video, I'll try to remember to leave a card at the top. Roadhog needs a nerf. He needs to go. We spawn trapped for how long for me just pulling them out of spawn? His grapple reaches way further than I think it did before. The healing's more. Has the most health. And does absurd damage. They can't do all of them. Either the self-healing that Roadhog does needs to be lowered, because there was multiple games I would be passing our healers in healing. And it's not like they were low. I was getting games as Roadhog of like 8,000, 9,000 healing. That shouldn't happen. That's too much. Imagine if Reaper healed like 3 times the amount he did per shotgun. Everyone would complain it's broken. Roadhog needs to be nerfed out the ass. Less healing, and the grapple can't go as far. It goes way too far. Either that or make it a lot less frequent. One of the two. He needs to be nerfed. It's insane. Sigma is a Sigma male. Definitely very strong, very good choice. Pretty solid. The shield is pretty strong, but I think Sigma's... Again, I kind of said at the beginning, and I'll say it again, and over, tanks need to be nerfed. They are too strong. Their damage output in all tanks are too much right now. It's just too much damage output from these tanks right now. Sojourn, I'm gonna put B tier. They're annoying, but not very powerful. Just because they can slide around, they're like slide canceling around the map. They're like a Call of Duty Pro or whatever. But damage-wise and overall out of offense, wouldn't be my first pick by any means. Haven't used them a ton, but Soldier's still solid. Sorry, McCree, you're still shit. Soldier is still soldiering. Soldier is still solid. Healing, good. The Helix rockets, I mean, I feel like they nerfed the damage of Helix rockets, because I feel like it doesn't do as much. But I don't feel like it was a bad change. Because Soldier's the whole thing was just a Helix rocket spam. Sombra, yeah. Honestly, I think Sombra needs a buff. I was about to say a nerf. Yes! Nerf the bad character. I think Sombra needs a buff. I don't know what, though, to buff. Just... the hacking's good, but anytime you go behind the team, like, you kind of just die. The only person that the Sombra's good against is Zarya. That's it. And that's because Zarya is impossible to kill if they actually know what they're doing. Symmetra, B tier, not much has changed. Pretty standard. Kind of annoying with the turrets. Torbjorn, B tier. Turrets again. Kind of meh. Kind of good. Depends on the person, right? Anyone in B tier, it all depends on who's playing it. A tier is most people can get away with playing it and do half decent. C tier is you need to specialize in that person or you're going to do trash. Tracer, again, just the damage output on so many people. You know what? I'm putting Tracer down in D tier. I'm sorry. It has to be done. Tracer's just not good. It's just not. Anytime we've gone against Tracers, they kind of chase someone around and they're almost like a mosquito. It's like, get out. You're not doing anything. You're not hurting. The healers are all outdoing you in damage, so unless you stand there and shoot me in the face, which then you just die, you're not doing anything. So... Tracer definitely needs a buff. Widow, honestly, I've said it and I'll say it again. Why are you picking Widow? Out of Hanzo, Ashe, and Widow, why the f would you go for Widow? I don't get it. I don't. People that main Widow, let me know. Why? Why? Hanzo and Widow, right? Very, very similar in damage. Charge times are very, very similar. And Hanzo's ult is infinitely times better than being able to see through walls. That's his fucking ability. Hanzo's got a damn ability that is Widow's ult. Just comprehend that for a second. Why? Why are you picking Widow? It don't make sense. Winston. Not the worst of tanks. Not the best. Definitely in the middle. Strong. But compared to anyone above them, wouldn't be my first pick. Junker Queen? I haven't actually played Junker Queen. But damn, they're strong. I'm actually putting them up there. Like, Junker Queen, I don't know all the abilities, obviously. They can hurt, and they can actually get a lot of health again. Pretty much any of the tanks that can heal themselves to the Junker Queen and Roadhog, they need to be able to heal themselves less. They do way too much. We had a Junker Queen just almost spawn trap us by herself. Like, they were a really good Junker Queen, and they were just killing us one after the other in spawn. Being able to correctly pull someone towards them, kill them, pull someone else towards them, kill them. Like, killing our offense, killing our healers, and we only had one tank. Zarya, easily the top, needs to nerf. Honestly, Zarya just needs to be removed from the game like Bastion until they fix her. She is too strong. Her damage output is fucking stupid. I'm not even exaggerating. Zarya's damage should be about 1/3 to 1/4 of her current damage. It needs to go. She constantly has bubble. She has 2 self bubbles. It's no longer a bubble for herself and a bubble for someone else. It's just 2 bubbles. So she's constantly bubbling herself and impossible to kill. And from the damage output, you can't wait for the bubbles to expire because her beam reaches to fucking Mars and you just die. Like, Zarya needs to be... Zarya, Roadhog, easily the 2 top people that need a nerf instantly in the game. Instantly. Again, when I said tanks are pretty much the way to go, tank, 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 half of the S tier is tank. Zen, hey, solid healer, solid Orb Discord, very squishy, but I think that's a pretty appropriate tier list. But the tanks need to go. The tanks need to go. They're too strong. Zarya and Roadhog for sure. Again, Zarya they need to lower the bubble cooldown so it takes longer for not I guess lower, raise the bubble cooldown so it takes longer for each bubble. Roadhog needs self-healing, less grapple distance. Genji needs less bunny hopping around. Like, it's just too annoying to hit him. And even as you get close or whatever, just starts deflecting and flying, and then you're done. And then Junker Queen, just slight nerf on the amount of health that she gets and stuff, and then I think she's good. Other than that, I think everyone's pretty solid. Bastion, he gotta be D tier. There was a whole bug that for some reason you can get infinite Bastion ults. I don't even know how that happened. Like, how does that even... Whatever. Doomfist, trash tier tank because it's secretly an offense, and offense is completely underpowered right now in this game. All the offense people, I think, need more damage, maybe besides Junkrat. Yeah, I think every single offensive person could use slightly more damage besides Junkrat. Even Soldier's gun. Honestly, Soldier's and Baptiste's gun are very similar. Soldier's only up there because of his Healing Rift and his Helix Rockets. And then ult, of course. Baptiste's ult, I don't find that useful. It's such a small square that you can just easily, like, step outside and it's like, haha, you can't hit me from this angle now, right? And then I said Kiriko would be A tier as well, so Kiriko should be up there. Kiriko's my main healer, Reaper's my main offense, and Roadhog's my main tank because, well, Roadhog's broken. Baguette sometimes I use as a healer as well. If they have a Roadhog, I'll typically use Baguette if we're struggling to kill the Roadhog because it's pretty good counter. But again, we look at C tier. Sombra's only in C tier. It would be in D tier, but she's only in C tier because it's the only possible way to kill a Zarya right now. Especially because half the people that are running Zaryas have a friend that's just sitting on them as Widow. You kill the Widow and shock. The Zarya has now either 100 damage, which it's near impossible to avoid hitting her with the amount of AoE things in the game nowadays. You're talking Roadhog Shotgun's AoE, Junkrat's AoE, Baguette's AoE, Hanzo I guess is technically not AoE, but she could easily be smart and just go stand in front of someone, right? D.Va, Soldier with the Helix Rockets, like, there's just so much AoE going on that she gets the 100 so quickly. Because even I think they actually made it so her cooldown goes down less. Like, the stack that she gets goes down less. So, like, she's got to go. I've been having a blast on the game. Just few things need to definitely go. Anytime we see a Zarya Roadhog on the same team, it's just crying. There's tears of sadness going on. So, but yeah, that's my thoughts on it. Let me know what you think. I'm willing to bet most people would disagree with my tier list. And listen, I don't want to hear any, oh, you just need to learn how to counter them in the comments. Shut the fuck up. There ain't no counter to Roadhog, okay? I play Roadhog. I can tell you there's no counter to Roadhog. Even a Roadhog does not counter a Roadhog. It doesn't work. Even a Zarya versus Roadhog one-on-one from base is screwed. Anytime we see a Zarya, I typically go Roadhog and just wait until her bubbles go. We give her no damage, and since Roadhog can just tank so much and heal, it's good. But Zarya's damage needs to go down, and bubble cooldown, like, only by a second or two. Just basically cooldown by a second or two, and then you're good. But yeah, let me know what you think of my tier list in the comments. Either way, I'll see you all again Sunday for another video, and enjoy the rest of your week.